Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Check 1 2 1 2. Time to get up, move your body.
Move your body, move your body. Move your body, don't hurt nobody.
First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
A 1 2, a 1 2. They're whispering again. Whispering again. That's the first guy. Let me listen to you.
Hey.
Can you dig it?
Can you dig it?
It's going down.
Hello.
Check. 1 2 1 2.
Am I all in your ear hole? You good over there, man?
Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Bring it to you in your ear hole on this Wednesday, May 31st, 2023.
Yeah, 2023. You got it right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what year it is sometimes.
You guessed it.
He was right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. How's it going? How's it going, man?
It's going. We had quite a day yesterday.
Yeah.
Condolences to the Beasley family first and foremost.
Man.
We lost John Beasley yesterday. Yeah, man. Days like yesterday is just like I'm so happy that we are able to be. We have a Chad Chimon family. We can get on and we can talk some things out and talk some things through. Cause man, heavy day yesterday. Like we did say, it is Wednesday, May 31st, 2023. You know that on Wednesdays we are politicking with P, seeing what's good in the hood. Precious McKesson, and Kimara Snipes coming in a little later on as special guests. So stay tuned for them today. It is Women's Wednesday here on First Sky Omaha. And we took off Monday so that we can do a little business. Actually, ended up doing a little business more than sleeping in.
Yeah. As usual.
As usual. But it was good to be able to get a jump on some things that we needed to. But welcome back on this Wednesday, and good morning to all the First Sky Omaha chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. I already got a shout out from Beth. Shout out to you on giving me the thumbs up on the playlist this morning. So appreciate that very much. And it looks like everybody's up in the chat as well. Pop says, good Wednesday morning. I'm loving all that is First Sky. Greetings from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops.
Hey.
Leia Keister says, whoopie-dee-doo, Women's Wednesday. Right on. She didn't kill us this time with it. She kept it brief.
Not too bad.
Well, I'm putting my readers on so I can see what yay that Leia Keister gave us today. Junior Brother Sanchez. Mayor Sanchez says, ain't nothing to it but to do it. Heard that.
Hey, ain't that the truth?
Mama Guy said, good morning, First Sky fam. Good morning to you.
Hey.
Yep.
My dudes.
Pop says, Buddy put a little twang on the First Sky in the morning.
A little bit. You gotta remix it sometimes. You know, can't keep it the same.
In the morning.
Yeah.
Brother Sanchez says the Warriors shot Cyrus. You talking about
Can you dig it?
Amy H. Dot gives us a good morning, fam. Good morning to you. Congratulations on your business, Amy H. Dot. We'll talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
Mark Manner gave us a good morning. I see we got people over here on YouTube and Facebook. Appreciate you. Good morning, Mark. Quite I mean, you see the headlines already that we had to put up, man. R.I.P. John Beasley. R.I.P. the
Man,
reader.
man,
Perico. We got to talk about it. That,
documenters.
man, all of it. I mean, documentaries are still going, but we got to talk about all of it for sure.
Hmm.
Miss Erica Fell says, "Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you as well. Appreciate you." Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. So, I mean, first and foremost, before we get there, let's just kind of take the temperature. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm asking you, man. Like, I know again,
I've been on the
brother.
phone all day yesterday.
Well, you're in the midst of a lot of things. You know what I mean? Of course, personal friends, close, both of us. But you and John Heaston, have definitely have a close relationship. So to hear his decision to step back from the reader, I'm sure was both of our concern, knowing his health, journey, and he's been very public about that. So again, that was definitely something to step back and kind of consider. And then to hear about John Beasley, who again was a personal mentor of yours. I'm do you knew both or both these gentlemen closely? How are you?
Yeah, still kind of spinning. I mean, very, very sad and devastated about Brother Beasley. This was unexpected. This was it wasn't like he was, at least to my knowledge, wasn't sick. You know, last time I saw him, he was he was strong and healthy, man. He's a strong and
Hmm.
healthy cat. He's
Hmm.
one of them cats like Ernie Chambers, still doing push-ups at 80 something. So it's just super unexpected. I haven't even really gotten a chance to talk to the family much at all. So kind of don't know. I mean, it's been there's been there's death in my family just recently too. I mean, there's it's kind of nonstop really. What's been going on all year as far as that is concerned. So been it's heavy. And as you mentioned about John Houston, man, he is a friend. We're worried about, happy that he's taking steps to do whatever he needs to do to get to make sure that his health comes first, of course.
Hmm.
But for him, him to be doing the reader for 30 years and then decide to stop is, I don't want to read more into what he's saying is going on, with his health and stuff like that. But I gotta worry. I mean,
Right.
we did have a friend. So a friend of ours that's been on the squad for a long time, Lynn Sanchez, who was over there doing things for the Reader and Pioneer Media. She resigned recently, and I knew that was going to be heavy. But it was also because it was like, well, John's been out for a year, and now he's getting better and coming back, and he's been out to some things, and we know that things are better. And so maybe she's leaving. He's gonna come back and run things, and so just we're in a different climate though. We're in a different time, a different climate. We're funds are different.
Hmm.
How you fund things, especially news, is different. And there's a lot that's changed over this past year even. So without getting he gave me a call before they put the announcement out, and he just wanted me to hear it before I heard it elsewhere. And all we can really do was, he just kind of briefly told me what was up. And we really didn't really get into too much of it.
Hmm.
Obviously everybody's hitting them up trying to, there's people that want to take it over. I'm sure that he looked around for people that he thought might be good for doing that, but he kind of decided that it needed to stop, as opposed to handing it off somewhere else. And after he kind of explained why, it makes a lot of sense to me, because
Hmm.
you wouldn't want something as powerful as the reader to get into the wrong hands, man. We're seeing it in radio, we're seeing it in TV, right wing, companies taking stuff over and turning it, what I'm saying, like what would happen then if the reader turned into that? So and then of course, I feel like there's a little bit of open end. Hopefully it'll be, if circumstances change, you never know, he might bring it back. But as for now, their last articles are scheduled for September. They don't have anything planned for October. That's going to be the
Mm,
last articles of the reader in El Perico. So
yeah.
what I mean. We'll jump into it some more. We'll jump
Yeah,
into
yeah,
this some
but
more.
more so just how are you doing again, and um,
Yeah, like I
you know.
said, man, just kind of it's rough, man. Just it was one of them days yesterday, just rough day.
Mhm.
Um, and so yeah, I don't know, just kind of spinning a little bit, just this is one of the kind of things I'll definitely be floating in and out of feelings about for the next however long.
Right.
But right now it's just what can we do to be there for the family for brother Beasley, checking in on baby boy and them, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
Just trying to check in with the fam and at this point it's what do? You get some news and then everybody kind of calls each other to see if each other's all right, and that's kind of where we're at, and then we'll go off and feel our personal feelings here and there.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. However we might be feeling, definitely got to make sure that we're here to support John and the Beasley family. So
yeah.
I'm definitely with you on that one. I would just say, just as a community, even though I'm not even there physically, it feels like a hit. You
Well,
know what I mean? It just feels like we all, as a family, took a loss on a couple fronts yesterday. Um,
it's
and
reverberating in the streets, bro, for real.
it really is. It really is. And I'm also, my mind is also going to, rest in peace to Brother Curly Martin. Like we're losing some, some legends, some elders, some real elders in the community. We just recognized Brother Taylor. So, you know, let's start giving some flowers. Let's, really take in these moments for what we can, as far as just lessons and guidance, from these elders that we're losing.
We are coming up in the last days of the legislature, so we're definitely going to talk about some of the bills that got passed here. That Pillin that Pillin signed into law already. There's some stuff out about ACLU that's going to sue over some things.
Hmm.
There's also this education thing that needs to be discussed because that a bill got passed there. Voter ID is there's some movement there. So there's a lot that we got to talk about that we've been talking about just to try to keep up on the stories on what's happening. And then of course we'll be talking to Precious McKesson and Kimara Snipes. But I think mostly this we're going to be here today to kind of decompress on some of this news that's been happening.
Hmm.
It's really deeper than that. It's the state of news in Nebraska that we really need to be talking about. The infrastructure that the reader was really the center of in a lot of
Man,
ways.
man.
I said, I was thinking, I was telling somebody yesterday, I was like, some of the litmus tests that we have about the reader, our partnership with the reader is if we can get brothers like Von Chapman and brothers like Brother Kasim to start to trust the reader, then we were kind of doing our job, but the reader was doing their job by coming correct.
Mhm.
And who's out there doing that? Who's doing that now? We've utilized our partnership with them in a strong way in our community. So it's deep, deep, deep. Anyway, that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So I hope that you guys stick around and add your voice to the conversation, and so on and so forth. But do you have anything to add about what we're going to talk about today? We'll go ahead and get the show started, and then we can jump back in. Anything on top
Well,
of your mind today?
not necessarily. Of course, those are the things that are on top of my mind, especially the state of news in Nebraska. I really don't think people understand just how central, as you mentioned, the reader was to a lot of things that are going on just in the newscape around the state. Also, as always, I do want to open up the floor, man. If there's anything going on in your world, we are here to have a conversation. If there's anything that we missed, feel free to drop that into the chat. Mama God says, I think today is Precious' birthday. So, okay,
Mm,
maybe she'll be partying, or we'll see if she'll
we'll
stop
see.
through.
We'll see.
Be nice to speak to her on her birthday. Brother Von Chapman also says, sad morning, Memorial Day extended. So yeah, I am curious. What did you do over the weekend? Did you do anything for Memorial Day?
Yeah.
Just kind of check in. Let us know what's going on in your world. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. But other than that, as you see, is going to be somewhat of a heavy day. But we just got to have those days sometimes. So we're here to talk about it. And without further ado, just about 15 minutes into the hour, so let's go ahead and get this thing rolling.
Let's
All
get it.
B,
Yo
let's go.
yo. What up? What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Once again, you're listening to a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, this last day of May, May
Man.
31st. It'll be the first of the month tomorrow. So thanks for joining us. Once again, if you missed Monday's show, that's because there was no show. We took the Memorial Day off. We didn't really do anything over the weekend except some work. But it was nice to, got a couple more winks in the morning, but it's cool. And I'm just glad that we're here. Like I said, heavy day yesterday. We lost a legend in the world. Period. Especially in Omaha, Nebraska. John Beasley, who was a mentor to us, guru to us. Used to do Tai Chi with the bro.
Man.
Showed me moves. Showed me how to reach the chi. Showed me a whole bunch of stuff, man. It was a good friend. He everywhere we would ever go, he would say, "Let me tell you about this man." His great grandfather, he launched into what great grandpa did. You know what I mean? Like he was just one of them kind of cats, man, from the old school. And rough. Some more rough news that we got yesterday. Of course, the Reader put out a message saying that their last magazine is going to go out in September. So that's that for the Reader. Reader and El Perico are shutting down. Huge deal to especially what it is that we do. And we got to start asking some of these questions. How are we getting our news? Where are we getting our news from? We started taking a real close look at that yesterday. Started Call the Squad, talked to Star Trek Rich and Margie yesterday. We had some very deep discussions on the future about what's going on here. We're not done. I was on the phone all day yesterday. So we're here to kind of decompress some of those things. Amy H. said mixed bag yesterday. And of course, she's getting the bad news, but she also has some really good news. She started her new business, introducing Delonix. We offer support and advocacy to our clients through project management and construction oversight services.
Okay.
So she's been in the industry here for a while, and really proud that she started her deal here. We'll have to have her on to talk about her business, but I can understand why it's a mixed bag. You get bad news on a good day, on a day that you got some good news to share.
Right.
It's rough. It's very rough. Miss Erica Fell says, I'm completely messed up about the Reader. It gave me hope for more true journalism. It's heavy for sure, says Amy H. Yeah, us too. I mean, we were proud to feel like we helped shape some of that that thing, but it was all, John Houston is had a vision. And he really pulled through on this vision of what the Reader could be. Remember, the Reader was a magazine, kind of a culture magazine that you go and find out what's going on in the waiting room and stuff like that before COVID, before 2020, before Freedom Summer. Things got so heavy that he decided that we needed to jump into some real news and changed up the format. And ever since then, we have stuff now like the Disinvested series and all these series that really take some deep dive looks into what's going on in all neighborhoods, especially when it comes to criminal justice reform, when it comes to social justice, when it comes to housing, environment, everything that is a major problem that we didn't feel like mainstream media was really keeping track of. They picked up the ball, they filled the hole. They filled the gap there with that. They picked up the ball and ran with it. And a lot of what we do is because of them being able to do that. So, like that woman, like Miss Erica Feller saying, it gave me hope for more true journalism. There's going to be more true journalism. The players, all the people behind the Reader, Baby Boy Bowling, Bridget, Carla, everybody who's been a part of this thing are still journalists.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that they want to stick around here and keep on fighting the good fight. So, true journalism is going to prevail, but it's rough that this particular organization that can organize some of that true journalism is not going to be here anymore. So that's rough. Amy H. says, my husband answered an ad in the Reader for a band looking for a bass player, and he's been with them for years and years. Losing the Reader is a shock on so many levels.
Yeah, man.
I like that. I'm glad you brought that out. Mark Manor in the chat, who just started writing for the Reader again, says, I talked with him on the phone, talking about John Houston. Also, he said, and I really felt like he knows he needs to take some time for himself. I can't remember a time without the reader. Been there my entire adult life.
Man,
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's a blow. It's a blow, not just for what we do, just culturally, just Omaha. You know,
it's been a staple.
it's been a state that he did it out of punk rock values, man. He kind of came in with it like, I'm gonna start this magazine because nobody's talking about art out here at all.
Hmm.
Omaha World Herald and all these other places, they're not saying nothing about this music that's happening through the scene. You know, like he came in with attitude, like we reject the premise. We're going to start a magazine that's going to talk about all the things that we think are important, like art.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention, all the other side things like starting the food delivery service for restaurants who didn't have that during the pandemic,
Right.
keeping restaurants open, keeping the Sokol open.
Opening the circle in the first place.
Right, 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 right.
Starting Earth, helping start Earth Day. I mean, we can go on down the list. We're gonna have John on at some point, so he can talk about his legacy. Because every time I talk to him, I learn about something else he did for this community that's huge.
Man, not to mention El Perico. Let's not forget about El Perico and the fact that South Omaha now loses a voice and a valuable, very very valuable and important resource. I mean, again, El Perico had articles in both English and Spanish. Had also, how to dos and all types of resources for some of the citizens in South Omaha to help navigate the same way that we try to figure out how to navigate here in North Omaha. So again, it's a big blow, big blow. Mark Mentor also reminded us OEAs.
Yeah, he started the awards out here as well. Amy H. Dot's giving us some flowers. Says, you love that you were back writing, Mark. You're so talented and insightful. I hope you continue with that, regardless. I hope all the writers continue. Baby Boy is talented. Like, it's funny, man. He always cringes every time we call him Baby Boy, but like, you got to understand, bro. The black community called you Baby Boy. You in there. you know,
Hmm.
there's a whole lot of trusted white writers, especially young ones like Baby Boy. But he's been on the crusade from the jump, and we've been co-signing for him this whole time too. And I think that like that means something because that doesn't happen with us all the time. So just I hope that he keeps on writing. I saw his post. I saw his post. At first and foremost, he's gonna be looking for a job.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully, it'll be a journalism job. But where's money in journalism right now?
That part. I reached out to him. I definitely reached
Yeah.
out to him. He said he's doing fine, just more so unsure about the future. Like you said, where is it going to work? Like you say, he did reach post. So if anyone has any leads, definitely if you follow him on social media, reach out to him. He is looking, of course, journalism, but if you just have any leads, because we can definitely find some work for him. So if you can, at least keep them in the area. Remember, some of these people aren't from Omaha, and that's one of the big thing is I believe Chris is from Cincinnati. I
Mhm.
think Bridget is from like Pennsylvania or something like that.
Yep, yep.
So again, trying to these people just lost their job. How are they going to stay in Omaha? These are assets. They prove themselves to be assets to the community, and if we lose them, who's going to write? Like what? It's a big question as far as the state of news, not just in Omaha but in Nebraska.
Yeah, but remember, they weren't a part of the reader up until I think they came on what in 2019, 2020.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, the big thing about it is that it was the reader was like an incubator that helped build these writers
Mm.
because there was no that's part of the tragedy of this happening. The incubation for to have a seasoned journalist on deck that has the vision of attacking social justice and a real passion for journalism, and then bringing on young journalists from who have he's recognized the talent, and then grooming them into being these writers that are trusted by all communities.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. We kind of got to get our credibility from writing for the reader. I
What I'm
mean,
saying.
that's when we were really as minus soul, that's also what we were doing, writing for the reader and doing, investigations into the land bank and trying
Right.
to figure out what's going on with that, and speaking to the protesters, and getting that firsthand, account, and really voicing what was going on with Freedom Summer. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, and not to mention noise. I mean, let's just call it what it is as well. John, was very helpful in the creation of noise.
John Cre- John,
Go ahead.
John Houston. John Houston found the program, found the grant money, and then brought it to us and asked us how what can we make here. Dewan just happened to have this vision of what of noise, and so as far as I'm concerned, John Houston started noise. We can also talk about how John Houston saved the Omaha Star several times over the course of its lifetime to get to where we have a black woman running it now. Um, like I said, we got to have him on, bro, and we got to and as humble as he is, we got to have him talk about all the stuff that he did because we're people are feeling that this is devastating that we don't have the reader, but it's easy to go like, well, we don't have this source of news, but no, man, it's deeper than that. Like we don't have the
Man,
incubation center anymore. We don't have this connection to South Omaha like we had with El Perico. I mean, we can go on and on about these things. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. Like I said, the warriors behind what we had is still around right now. Chris Bowling is still a writer. He's still a journalist. He wants to find a way that he can do that. Here's Mark
Carlo.
Manor has found a way. He said, I found a sponsor yesterday and had someone start building me a website. He says I just got the writing bug again, so I'm gonna keep going with my thing. So
Okay.
good news. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, we're it's as a matter of fact, like part of what we got to talk about here is how we receive our news in the first place. This is the deep conversation that went late into the night last night with several people who we're associated with, several partners. How do you receive your news? The reader was a place where it gathered, but is that do you pick up the reader and read it all the time? Do you look at the website every day to gather that? Do you see posts in social media and then click on the article and check it out? We really only get our news in these fragmented ways these days. It kind
Yeah.
of doesn't matter where it's at. Mark Manor has a page where he's going to be writing about music. If you're interested in music, you're going to hit his page, or you're going to hit First Sky Omaha and get a link to his page, or what you know what I'm saying. Whatever the deal is, so it doesn't matter where it lives. It matters who's doing it, what's being done, and we got to really look at that. How do you get your news? I want to put that out there to the chat. I want to put that out to the chat. How do you get your news? Let's be real about how you get it. We could talk about specific stories. Star Trek Rich and Margie and I yesterday talked about the story about that white woman who tried to grab the bike from the black kid. And the New York Post took that story, took quotes from that white lady's lawyer, and painted a whole picture about these black kids that was attacking this white lady and trying to steal the bike that she paid for and all this mess.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else got on TikTok and they had done a deep dive on the subject and found out that the story was exactly the opposite of that. That lady was trying to take a bike that they already had. And I said, yeah, that was a crazy story. How did you find that story out? Star Trek Rich said, I saw it on TikTok. And we were just like, how this is how we get our news in these fragmented ways. A lot of people call me and tell me they get the news from us just because we're gathering it up like Reader's Digest and talking about it and putting the headlines out there and talking about it. And we do it from several different sources. So you can come to First Sky Omaha, hear what's going on Nebraska Examiner, Omaha World Herald, The Reader, Flatwater Free Press, all in the same show instead of going to the individual places to get it. So, to think that we're a news source is kind of crazy to me, really,
Mm.
in a way, to say that we're a news source. You know what I'm saying? But we are. I mean, we are if we're talking about what's in the headlines and talking about it with people. And yeah, you're right. I mean, that's where I get my news is when I get up in the morning and get it together for the show.
Right. I mean, and for me, being a journalist and having to go through the school and getting the formal education and definitions on it, I had to kind of rewire as far as what we're doing, because this isn't necessarily that. Like
Right.
most of my colleagues and classmates work for affiliate CBS. NBC, ABC, those network news. But what is news? You know what I mean? Like at the and again, this is all we all have the right to do this. This is the freedom of the press. This is the First Amendment.
Right.
We all have the right to do this. So what is news? And really at the basis, it's information.
Very true.
It's information, and as Amy H. says, you're a conduit. Again, where are you getting your information? I mean, we can talk about credibility, but look at Fox News. I mean, they just got sued behind this whole voting situation, and to find out that whole thing was a farce. I mean, we all knew it, but
Yeah, but again, we knew it because we checked with our sources that we
right,
trust
right,
that had a different story. I'm going to jump in here. We have Precious McKesson in the wings. We'll have her come in just a second. Miss Erica Phil says, when I first came to Omaha, finding the reader gave me hope for a music and art scene. A
hmm,
couple of years later, I got a job out the want ads in the reader. There you go.
man,
Amy H. Dot said, yes, Chris Bowling and Bridget Fogarty just met with me with the documenters last month to provide insight and exchange ideas. We need them here doing what they're doing.
yeah,
We got to jump into talking about the documenters a little later on too, because they're a program of the reader right now. So we'll have Abby Kritz on to find out what's the future of the documenters program. Miss Erica Field is asking, what's Leia Cates doing now? I still follow her on Twitter. She's out in New Jersey going to school.
Rutgers.
Still fighting the fight. Still fighting the fight. But yeah, has not been doing much in journalism at this point,
No.
but wants to come back to do something. So there it is. Miss Erica Field says, yep, TikTok and Facebook are my primary sources. We need to talk about sources where you get your news. I get my news from little clips on TikTok and Facebook, and then I do what we all do, which is go find my trusted resources to get the receipts on that, to find out if that's true. We think about it. You're on Facebook, you see somebody passed away. So we've all learned, we've all been burned and learned.
Man, yeah, yeah. They didn't killed off Jackie Chan like 12 times. Like,
Bro. So what do? So we wait, we find out from our trusted resource, we do our own fact checking, and then we believe that trusted resource about what's happening. And next time that happens, pay attention to where you're going to go look. It's really interesting. As a matter of fact, it's very interesting, and I would love to talk to Miss Precious McKesson about it as well. So we're going to bring her on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're politicking with P. Precious McKesson, history making P in the house. Good morning to you. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are y'all?
hanging in there, hanging in there.
We had a rough day yesterday, the whole city. So
Yeah,
we're going through it. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm
Are
good.
you in town? You out of town or in town?
No, I'm here. I'm here until Friday.
Okay.
Okay,
Is it
okay.
your birthday today?
Yes, it
Is
is.
today the day?
Okay,
Today's
okay.
the actual day.
Today's
Happy
the actual day.
birthday.
Yeah, good news, man. Right
Yeah.
on. Are you been
Yeah.
partying?
I did something on Monday. I really don't do much, but I mean, I still celebrate, but I don't go into June. That's one thing I try not to do because I'm not a June baby. I'm a May baby, even though it's the
Mm,
last day. So, but I
okay.
really don't do much like I used to do. But I still, kind of, I got things like I'll go to lunch with some friends, dinner. I did
Hmm.
a little thing on Monday where I had some live music and stuff. Had a day party. It was pretty cool.
So
Okay.
that sounds like some grown folks partying. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, right on. Thank you for joining us on your day.
Thank
You
you.
got
Yeah.
any plans today? You got any things you're gonna do on this actual day?
Most likely I'm gonna go to lunch, but I actually have a plan to sit and watch TV, and I gotta do like a list for June, like some of my to dos that I need to do for the month that I need to focus on, like a priority list. So that's what I'm gonna do this morning,
That sound like work.
and go
Bro,
buy me some mulch from Home
That sound like
Depot.
work.
that's grown folks. That's a grown folks birthday right there, bro. We don't we gave that I got one coming up June 4th. I'm definitely planning on catching up on some shows.
Well,
Okay.
happy my Gemini twin.
Word up. Thank you.
Yeah, getting some happy birthdays in the chat
Y'all,
as well. Chat chimers
yeah,
showing you some love.
it's my Obama year.
Okay,
Good.
okay.
I'll skip next year.
There you go. Hey, Ronnie Shields
I'll,
in the house. What's
Boots.
going on,
I'll
Bozak?
repeat my Obama year until I get
Okay.
to my Biden year.
Until you get to,
And he did repeat. He did repeat. So there you
until
go.
you get to your Biden year.
Right, 2 terms.
That's what's up. Well, thanks for joining us on your day. What's top of your mind today? What's going on in your world?
Man, so I mean, I've kind of been off the radar with the legislature. I know we're like in the 87th day. I think we have 3 more
Uh-huh.
days until the session is over. Really just kind of just being, off because of, working, going to El Paso and
Mhm.
participating with the NUSA conference. But I was just looking and seeing how just crazy how Pillin vetoed $119 million in items from the state budget. But
Mm-hmm.
I just want to point out two things that I feel that is critical to this, because we just passed, they passed this horrendous bill where, the trans bill, as well as, taking away women's rights and stuff. So the one that stood out to me was the child welfare rate increase, 6 million he vetoed. Medicaid reimbursement rates, 45.2 million that he vetoed. But this one right here stands out a little bit to me, because it's like y'all playing games with us. Cedars housing facility for pregnant and parenting homeless youth, $1 million.
Wait, say that again.
The Cedars housing facility for pregnant and parenting homeless youth, he vetoed for $1 million. So you mean to tell me last week y'all was saying you don't have a choice, but now that these youth are pregnant and homeless, you gonna veto a $1 million to be able to for them to have a place to be? See, this is the problem. It's always, and I say this, and please don't take it wrong, it's always these rich folks and these privileged people making law and telling us what we can and can't do, but then they turn around and vote against it. I don't get it.
I don't get
I
it.
don't get it. It's like, what? I mean, it's so frustrating. And so you have no choice. You can't have an abortion. But now that I'm pregnant and I'm homeless and I'm a youth, you're not gonna give
That's
$1 million for me to
ridiculous.
be able to have somewhere safe to stay with this baby that I got now have to have. You know
They
what?
spend $1 million
I
on country clubs at the golf course.
Man,
right. They write that off. So at this point, I'll tell you what I gotta say. Man, forget Jim Pillin. And that's me being nice.
Mm,
Change the forget to something
mm,
else. Him and all his cronies down there.
sheesh.
I say that with all disrespect,
mm.
because that right there, that just shows you. So people, if you don't see anything else, you don't take nothing else from this. You gotta get out and vote, because this right here is showing you it's not about us. It's about their
Oh
agenda,
yeah.
because they could care less. It's their agenda that they're carrying. Because if you can vote against this after you just said that you have to have these kids, and we're gonna fight, we're pro-life, we're this, but then you're telling me you're not gonna give me housing, and I'm homeless, and I'm pregnant.
And young and a child. Miss Er-
They don't care
Miss
about.
Erica Phillips says
They don't care.
pro birth, not pro life. Sean McCarthy in the chat. Good morning. Says in the words of George Carlin, preterm, you're fine. Preschool, you're on your own.
Mm.
They don't care. They don't care, because my thing is that anytime you have people that do not even increase the child care, increase the limits to be able to receive assistance, but they're telling you gotta have children. I mean, I understand that people have situations where they say, well, I can't take care of this child and I have to do this. But the fact that you are not doing this, it's messed up. I don't have the bill number. I'm just gonna. It's in the appropriations. I don't have the exact bill number, but today I know they are going in. But it's called Cedars Housing Facility for pregnant and parenting homeless youth. So some of these youth already have children.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you can look up online. I mean, it has it looks like it's the appropriations is like 45 million in Medicaid provider rate increases. The appropriations committee has voted to seek veto overrides on 3 of the items: 45 million in Medicaid provider rate increases, 40 million in rural and urban workforce housing, and 800,000 in increased staffing for the state auditor. So today they will then go in to veto those three from the appropriations, and then they will those three will go through. But the other ones, I mean, it's sad. It's sad.
Mm.
It is.
It's sad. And then and then I laughed. I should say I laughed, but it's crazy how I was listening to some voicemails yesterday from work, and it's like it's crazy how these people say that they support mental health, they support these different things. We need to make sure that we're protecting, but then as soon as Senator Kavanaugh goes off, they want to call her crazy, they want to say call her mentally unstable. But you was just saying you want to I just don't it's backwards.
Mm.
It's hard for me to even try to be respectful and say what I want to say about those people down in Lincoln. There's no way. I mean, I'm be honest with you. I wanted to run for office. I did. I said, "Oh, I want to go down there," but let me tell y'all, it ain't worth me going down there for $12,000 as a black woman, because again, I don't have what's needed to provide for my family. And as much as I want to advocate, I can't put my family in a hole to advocate
Right.
down there for $12,000 a year. People are okay to do that. So I sit there and say, if normally people good,
Mm.
don't let them fool you. They good. If they and there's some people they okay to do it. I just can't. I have too many people that I provide for to take that risk.
Which we understand now is the real problem, and was the
Mm-hmm.
reason why Tony Vargas and a
Mhm.
bunch of people are trying to up that pay, because
Oh,
yeah,
one more thing.
mhm.
That was one of the things also. It was,
Yeah, he shot that down too, right?
yeah, it was legislative salary increases $2.2 million.
Sheesh. Shot it
So
down.
yes, they can't override his veto because they have enough days. The session is still in. See, he's the one thing about it. He's not a coward. Well, he's a coward, but he's not he's still a coward. But Ricketts was like real coward, because what he did, he blocked the bill right when the session was almost over, and I think it was only one day, and they couldn't override his veto because they didn't have enough days or something,
Mm.
or he did it right after session after they did Saidi die.
Snake.
So so people are strategic in what they're doing.
So Pillin, you're saying Pillin is doing it now. There's some time though that we can get in there and override his. There's time for that to happen. He's standing on what he
But
said.
they only doing but on the bill they only have 3 on it to override, which is let me see. Yeah, the appropriations committee is doing the 3. I mean doing the 2 or the 3. They voted, the appropriations committee voted to seek overrides for on 3 budget items, and then at the governor's request, motions to override, it says motions to override gubernatorial line items, appropriate funds for the expense of the Nebraska state government, ending on June 30th, 2025, and appropriate federal funds allocated to the state of Nebraska pursuant to the Federal American Rescue Plan of Act of 2021, and then provide for transfers of funds, create funds, and change and eliminate provisions regarding the source, use, and transfer of funds. So he want them to go and bring the money in there. It's crazy. I'm just.
Marianne Williams in the chat. Good morning. Says Pillin voted to increase or pay to staff like
Mhm.
aides, etc. The increase of pay for senators hasn't passed to get to the governor, unfortunately.
It's never going to pass because people are never going to take it out of committee because they feel like the what they get back. I mean, I've always been a part of these conversations about how like money should be increased. Like I honestly feel that a senator should be paid at least $32,000 a year,
Mm.
like minimum
Mm-hmm.
32,000 a year. That's still lower than city council as well as the Douglas County
Mm-hmm.
commissioners. Go look up the Douglas County commissioners. I think they're making about 60, 70.
Mm,
Public service commissioner, about 80. Clerk of district court is over 100,000.
mm.
Yeah. Yeah. And half these people don't even go to work. They only work part-time in these positions. Let's keep it 100. Y'all taxpayer dollars are going to people who only come to work 1 and 2 days a week.
Mm.
Mm.
And because they're elected, they feel they have that right to do that. Some of them only require, but there's some that should be there 5 days a week because that's what your job is. but they're not going to work. So I think people should start looking into that. Start looking into these elected officials. I don't care who it is, Republican, Independent, Democrat. Start looking into these salaries, because you have 49 people, 48, 49, however many is down there in Lincoln, who are only making $12,000 a year to really make this whole state move.
Right.
And the fact that we can't get them an increase, but like they said before, even the Republican senators have said it does need to be an increase, because by it not being an increase, you are basically blocking people from marginalized communities from running for office to be able to come down. Even the parole board gets paid.
Yeah.
And remember, they wasn't going to work at all.
Everybody who ain't going to work is the ones that are getting paid.
Everybody who ain't going to work getting paid.
Let me
But the people
go ahead.
let me go. Go ahead.
Let me
Go ahead, Paul.
let me reiterate why this is significant. If y'all forgot, if we forgot, let's remind ourselves. This is significant because if you don't get enough money to, they're in the session every day, and they need to go, and lawmakers need to go up there every day, and you see how much. I hope that us bringing on brother senators Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney every week is giving you a glimpse on what kind of work it takes to do this job. Now, it also gives you a glimpse of how amazing that these brothers have worked some things around to be able to get there, because it's not enough for you to quit your job and go full time. You don't have enough money to do that. So that leaves the people who have enough money to not have to have a job are the ones that are there making the laws for everybody. So it's the wives whose husbands are lawyers, and it's it's people that can afford to take the time and go do this.
They can afford to take the time and everything. But another thing is they not see. I don't care. I keep it very 100 and very transparent. They not trying to give a black woman like me a job and say like they doing everybody else, like who can go run nonprofits or be able to work as consultants or do different things on the end and then come down there and fight for people that look like me. See, they're not doing that, because let me tell you, if they really felt that my voice mattered, they'd be like, here, let me go there, let me help Precious out and do this. As a black woman, we don't see that. And we've not had a black woman elected to the legislature since Senator Tanya Cook and Senator Brenda Council. And we had 3. Joanne Maxey in the 70s, she was appointed, and then Tanya Cook and Senator Brenda Council. So my thing is that y'all say y'all believe in what y'all want to protect, y'all want us to fight for us. But baby, you're not fighting for us when you're not supporting us to be able to go down and fight for our community, fight for the people who look like us and for marginalized communities. You're not helping us. So then we got to sit back and watch people who've never had a lived experience that we've had be able to talk about our experiences as if it is their experience. And it's not their experience. Just because you have a friend who experienced that is not your lived experience. Mm-hmm. So you can't speak for me.
Right.
Because you got a visitor badge to go into the prison system to visit some people, or because you received food stamps at one time, you don't speak for me. Because again, at the end of the day, this is our lived life.
That's right.
So I'm just saying, and I don't care who gets mad, get mad, put it on a t-shirt, do what you do.
Write it down. Take a picture. I don't care.
Take a picture.
I love this new thought that you bring into my attention. It's new to me. It's standing out right now. This thought that there's other things that can happen here. If there's one of the things is they can change the law and they can pay senators more, so that people can have that as their job and be able to go and be there every day. The other part is they can do things like bring Precious McKesson on as a consultant for a business. That can pay her a way that she can get she can use that as her job, so that she can take the time to go and do those things. There's other ways that outside of the legislature she can get supported, and all you gotta do is kind of take an example of what some of these white folks is up there doing, how they survive, how they live in order to come to the legislature and do that. What's your lifestyle, sis? What do you know what I'm saying? What do you do? Well, I do some consulting work here and I get paid there and I can take the time I need it. My husband is a lawyer and he, and all the things. So, we can take an example of how that's done just by taking the temperature of a lot of the other legislatures there. But remember, if you're rich enough to be sitting up there and not caring nothing about that 12 grand, but you can be there every day, then you're the one that's supposed to be putting laws together for everybody else. It seems to me that we need even more representation, more voices, more black women represent doing that. And so there's a new thought to me that what we can do is figure out some kind of way that can help that we
No,
can use the services of people like you who are doing things and pay you to do
but
it so
they
you can do that.
but what they do, they behind closed doors, they go and recruit white women to run for a seat that a black man. I'm trying
I'm
to
saying we can do
I,
that. We should do that too. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, what I'm hearing
we
you
have
explain is the good old boy network, though.
good old
That's
boy
what it
network.
is. That's what it is.
They
Like, do we have can Precious go be the executive director of the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation and still be a senator and have to worry about fighting and scrapping for the same $20,000 grants? Like,
We need a good old
what?
black
they
network.
don't want that. They don't want that. That's just too much. Too much like right. Like when we were in El Paso, this guy, Kimmer might be able to say Kimmer will know his name, but he was talking about the he has his back. Kimmer will give y'all a rundown. His background was like whoa, like, and then when he started talking and where how he's basically rose up to high power and really doing. But he made one comment. He said the problem is they keep us so divided and they keep us against each other, chasing for these same little crumbs.
Mm-hmm.
And then while we're over here on them crumbs, they're over here plotting against us and passing bills because we're not paying attention to them. So they want us to stay separate. Because if we stay separate, we can't pay attention to them because we're too busy fighting each other. So we got to stop
Mm-hmm.
fighting each other and pay attention to what they're doing. Because when we're at odds, they're working and they're working against us because they said, you know what? They can't even get along. They can't even split $325 million. They don't even know how to take that money and split it in a way that's going to provide for them. They're too busy figuring out who got this much. Why'd you get this? What did you do to get that? And then they're over
Mm.
here plotting so
Hello.
we go and get a lake out in western
Hello.
Nebraska that none of us most likely ever go to.
Or
And
might get shot at if we try to go to.
who's ever been to Lake McConaughey? Do y'all even know we
Like
have a Lake
you haven't
McConaughey?
heard about it, like, right? I haven't even heard about it.
Let me tell you how I learned about Lake McConaughey because I used to work at AAA and people would drive their cars out on stints who didn't have common sense, and we would have to go winch them out of the sand because their car got stuck in the sand. That's the only reason why I knew about Lake McConaughey.
Sean McCarthy in the chat says there needs to pay these positions a livable. They need to pay these positions a livable, desirable wage equivalent of a college degree. Ironically, this would get special interest out of these positions. We got Kimara Snipes sitting in the wings. We go ahead and bring her in, and maybe she can co-sign a little bit on what you just was talking about and give us the name. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now seeing what's good in the hood with Kimara Snipes. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you.
Good morning. Precious got me over here going through my notes. I'm like, who's she talking about?
He was on the closing. He was the closing speaker. He was the one who
Oh, the
talked about
mayor?
having an eight
Former
ball.
mayor?
Yeah, he was
Oh,
like, yeah, I had an eight ball. He was
yeah,
he went real.
yeah. He was very real.
He was the mayor. Mayor what?
He was a former mayor. Hold on. I can't remember his name right now. He was a former mayor somewhere up in New York, in New York, in the state of New York. It wasn't a
Hmm.
very large city, but he was in the military. He became an alcoholic. He ended up on drugs. He ended up selling drugs. He was saying how he should have been in prison. He said he ended up sleeping underneath a bridge at
Mm.
one point in time, and just talking about how he literally, like, rose from the bottom and, saw the things he was going through as a veteran and decided that, he wanted to run for city council. And he did that. And he talked about it was his realness and his honesty that is what really connected with the people.
Hmm.
And that's what they came out and voted for.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, good morning to you. Thanks
Good
for
morning.
Yeah.
Kimara, the Notebook Snipes. You got a new
Yeah.
nickname for you.
It's kind of funny you said that as far as the realness because this might be controversial to say on here, but isn't that the same logic that some people use to vote for Trump?
Yeah. Yeah.
The realness.
Yeah.
The honesty, not
Yeah.
voting for a politician.
Yeah. For sure. Most
Hmm.
definitely.
It was just a thought. It was just a thought. Just
No, but it's the
very
truth
interesting
though.
that you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, this goes back to this whole. I don't even feel like I can really articulate it as well as I want to. But like when Kimara introduced the idea of like political topology, and you know how it almost seems like the snake is biting its tail on political ideology in this country, and people are doing different things for the same reason or doing the same things for different reasons, and it's very, very interesting to me as far as people looking for real. Like everybody realizes, whether you're right wing or left wing, that there's something wrong with this political structure,
It's the
and
system.
the typical politician, you can't trust that anymore, and
Right.
people are looking for something different.
People are
And
looking
whether
for
it's Trump
authenticity.
or you said what?
I said I feel like people are looking for authenticity.
Mhm.
They want you to be authentic and real. I'm telling you, one of the biggest thing I hear from people, it is coming to me as we're having this conversation. It's like, Kimara, you so authentic. You so authentic. I'm really just like my mama, and that's just believing, just keeping it just 100. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't got no time to be up here lying and playing all these games. But people like it when you honest with them.
Mhm.
I really
Hey,
think they do.
his name was.
Blackity.
Can I just say his name is Daniel Stewart, and he was the mayor of Plattsburgh, New York.
Okay, Daniel Stewart.
Daniel L. Stewart, former mayor of Plattsburgh, like
And
Pittsburgh, but it's Plattsburgh, New York.
and now he's city council, or what's he doing now?
No, he's a
Now
consultant.
he works for Cisco, an organization called Cisco.
Oh, he's a
Hmm.
consultant, so he got some time.
He's a
Okay.
senior advisor for state and local government.
There you
Wow.
go.
Hmm. It's interesting.
Yep.
I'll put it out to the chat. What can we do? I mean, I don't think that Precious is going to run now, but what can we do to put
No, I'm not.
to you ain't doing even so? Even if we come up with some kind of something that would make it so that you can do it financially, you wouldn't do it.
It'll have to be. Have to be something that I'm not putting. Yeah, that's the only way it happens.
Yeah.
That's the
So I
only
mean,
way.
I don't want to lose that idea because this the first I'm becoming aware of it.
Because
You know,
let me explain this, Paul, because people don't understand the reason why I say that. Because once I if I run for office, I have to resign from my position from the Democratic Party because it's
right?
in our bylaws that you can't be an elected official or staff or on the chair or the vice chair and run for office. And that's just basically to keep it fair. I mean, I think that was something that should be because you then have the insight of, as a in those positions you have the insight of donors, access to a little bit more than if there was another candidate. So I mean, so it's not that it's something that's unusual, but it's something that's fair. And I don't think there's never been a staffer or a former chair, I don't think, that has ran for office. So it's never applied to anybody.
Hmm. That's interesting. Still, the system still there has to be something going on. Somebody who will run. There needs to be. Like I said, if we can't get the law changed to where senators can make more money, then there needs to be some other. We gotta take some examples from other people that are in there. How are they doing? How are they able to do it? I don't want to lose that.
Sometimes what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander. You know how that go. That's how
Oh
they look
shit.
at it.
Yeah, you're right. Black Zam '09 said, "Hey, good morning, y'all. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you." Marianne Williams says, "I don't blame P for not running even a little. I hope another POC can run for that seat. I mean, we all gonna have the same problems, man. Everybody's kind of like, unless you independently wealthy, unless you got, then it's kind of hard to, and not to mention, you have to quit your if you're going to quit your job and do that full time. That's then you're in there for as long as you're elected, but there's a term limit on that. You got to go back to
Mm-hmm.
find a job after you get done. So
Right.
it's not just like quit my job, I'll take this job and do it. You also got to think about your future after that job. There's a lot they got to set up so that only rich people can be in them seats.
Yes, and that's why, and so when they did want to do the increase, that's why I felt like when Bacon kept trying to target Vargas and saying that Vargas voted to have his pay increase. He never voted for it. Vargas, and I keep saying this so they can keep bringing this argument. When Vargas was elected, the previous legislature had already voted to have it done, and it didn't make it anywhere. Vargas came in he was sworn in after that session. Now, when he came in during that session, did they actually present a bill to do it again? Yes, they all did. But guess what? It never came out of committee. So Vargas never was able to vote. That bill never made it to the floor for Vargas to vote. So Don Bacon was lying the whole time. And you have these people talking about the taxpayers talking about, well, they shouldn't be getting more money. Well, why shouldn't they? When you got other officials who don't get paid, then you have other officials who do get paid and don't go to work. How about you start clocking their time and finding out why they're not doing at least 40 hours in their office and they're taking our taxpayer dollars?
People just don't understand because they because of what they did. They painted the picture like Tony Vargas is in here trying to get paid. He trying to get in here and raise his pay up, and talking about his pay. Right? They kept on saying his pay as if it wasn't. First of all, if it wasn't all legislators,
Yeah.
but then here's the now we digging in deep and getting the real story about it didn't even get to committee. You know
No.
what I'm saying? So
And he wasn't even there when it was voted. He wasn't even an elected official for that district when it was voted on.
but that's
But
the kind of
again,
pictures they paint. That's the kind of pictures they paint on folks and got everybody confused about it. It's messed up. Marianne Williams says young people with
look at Kimara like.
Well, so
Go ahead.
It's just interesting because when I was down in El Paso, every morning they have these like sort of sessions in the morning. And one morning I went every morning. They were like 7 a.m. But that's cool.
Coffee table talk.
Yes, yeah.
They're like, here comes the notebook.
One of them I met, so Congressman Tony Gonzalez, his regional director, was there. And so we had a very interesting conversation. I plan on having a conversation with a certain someone up here because through that conversation, I recognized some serious gaps, right? That could be very supportive to neighborhoods. And so I'm sitting over here, and I can hear my mama in my head saying they worried about the wrong, you know what? Because I'm like, you know, we could be looking at this, but you over here, you know, spending your time making up lies about people. Meanwhile, we got these gaps that exist. And it's like people just worried about the wrong stuff. And it's just so frustrating because that's what politics has like come to. It's not even about like us as like people who live in these neighborhoods and have to deal with things every single day. And it just sucks.
And we had more city officials at this conference and was really dropping some serious gems. Like, I mean, it was just like, wow. I mean, sometimes it make you just want to be like, oh, I just want to pack up and move to that city. But then you be like, no, I got to fight for this because I know they went through the same thing that we're going through, but they found a way to get through it. And that's why they're where they're at now. So it's like, okay, if I can get that model and bring it here, we can do the same thing. We just got to get there. And we got the tools to do it. And I think we're on the right path. We just need more support. But again, when people start to be threatened by the change, because you know the change is for the people, it's not for you, it's for the people. And you're not looking to benefit from it. Only you want to make sure that your community can. That's when they have a problem. Black lives matter until you put your name on the ballot.
Hey, it's 8:03 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're in the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Oh, that was a sad little in the morning you did.
I'm deep in thought. I wasn't ready. I'm sorry.
You had this morning. You had the high pitched vibrato and everything going on, man.
Yeah.
In the morning.
He said, I need a Harlem Pro. Nah, Vaughn, I ain't trying to go to jail. I'm too cute.
We was talking about going to jail in my session.
We're talking to, if you're just joining us, we're talking to Precious McKesson and Kimara Snipes. Put some respect on their names. Politicin with PC and what's good in the hood, and they're dropping gems on us right now about this legislative session, especially because of we're coming to the end of this legislative session. If you've been following us this whole time, you've been checking in on what they have to say, and also the other dynamic duo of brother senators Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney, and seeing how this process works firsthand and hearing it from the horse's mouth every time they come on, and we are understanding what is needed. Brother Stuart Knight in the chat is saying to make the legislature work among black districts, there has to be district fund fulfilled by people in the represented district. He said that would take a common ideology, a common vision. Therefore, the narrative must be as black people. And so, I feel like he's co-signing a lot on what you're talking about. Like we are always in the pit fighting each other, they are always seeing that, and they're always throwing stuff out there for people to be fighting over. But yeah, there's a more singular vision. Then we can kind of get together and on some stuff, and that's how we got to work it. And that's why I think it's worth talking about. It's worth saying. How do we get people in those seats? What can we do to support them? Let's go talk to Ernie Chambers, find out about the lean years and the stuff that he went through and stayed in there. It's been $12,000 all this time, right? So, how are
Yeah.
people doing it? How are people doing it? It's the kind of the question.
Yeah.
Like Zane '09 said, Buddy had the quiet storm in the morning.
A little bit.
In the morning. Von Chapman said, Clarence Thomas will never go to jail or get indicted. We jump
I
on.
would. Oh, but I will. Oh, they'll send me. They'll send me real quick.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
Do not pass
if you go with
go.
the status
Don't
quo,
pass go. Don't collect $200. Don't call nobody. You gone.
you got to stick to the script.
Marianne Williams says, young people without families can run easier than others. I don't know how Senator McKinney manages it with all he has going on. For
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Brothers going to law school, brother's still coaching,
A
brother's
parent.
a parent, brother's providing for his family, and brother's going up to the legislature. And he ain't sleeping. He ain't sleeping. And so yes, and we also who knows? I mean, we've never really talked about it with him. We should talk to him and see if he would mind revealing some of the ways that he's making this work. But I'm more interested in how some of these rich folks up here making things work. How these people just sitting up here?
Yeah.
What's going on there? We're gonna have
I mean,
Megan
you
Hunt
called it.
on. We're gonna have Megan Hunt on pretty soon, right after legislature. She's coming on, and these are some questions that we can ask her too. We know that she owns a couple stores. She knows she's running a few businesses, and it'd be interesting to find out what other support allows her to be up at the legislature that way. And anybody else who's up there, we need to know because that's the only way we're gonna get folks in them seats.
Follow the money.
Generational wealth. You're right, brother Knight. That's one way. So lots going on there. What you thinking, Precious? I see your face.
I'll save my comments.
You didn't come on here to save no comments. No.
Well, we kind of y'all kind of got
Everybody
it.
can't. Let me shut up. I'll get in trouble. Let me shut up.
Precious.
Everybody can't close business and open up businesses like that. One business closed, one open. We ain't got that privilege.
Well, right.
Keep it
That's
100.
the point.
We ain't got that privilege. So maybe if they can give us the playbook, but again, once they give us the playbook, we too even now. Too much.
I mean, but even if they gave us a playbook, that's the thing. Can we run it? Can we run it? Like, do we have the resources? Do we have the businesses that we can consult for? Do we have the boards that we can go sit on? Do we have the nonprofits we can direct? Do we have the people that will come in and lobby? Like, do we really have the resources?
I think we have the resources, but I think because we
And you could have,
go ahead, Kimara. Go ahead.
I'll say you can have the resources. You still got to get past the other stuff too, the unconscious bias and the racism and all of that as well. I mean, trying to get in the doors is what they say. Your network is your net worth. What if you don't have the network, right? So I'm just thinking out loud.
And you got to be voted in. You got to get the votes too. On top of that,
Amen.
Only certain black people matter in certain circles.
So I'm just kind of wondering. I've been quiet and I'm just listening to what are we really talking about here? Where are we really getting at? Where is this really going? Do we need our own party? Kimara, I'm kind of curious as far as what are the gaps that you were referring to that you realized from NUSA?
So for me, keep in mind, when I went down to NUSA, it was wearing two hats. One was as the executive director of One Omaha, trying to find resources to support neighborhoods, but I was also presenting at the conference as well. Mm-hmm. So I think the biggest thing for me right now, and I still need to talk to Precious about this some more, is it's the neighborhoods hat, just period. That's all I can really think about coming from this conference. I attended a breakout session from this woman who lives in Missouri, and they did like this community health survey. And I really want Nona and Sona to really collaborate and apply for some funding, possibly from the table through their community connectedness grant.
Sound like you're covering your mic.
Oh,
your notebook on your microphone.
It's not on my laptop. Okay, I'm just gonna move it all the way away from me. Okay. But they did this community health survey and they shared all the information with me. And it needs to be tweaked, of course, to fit Omaha. But I really want Nona and Sona to come together to do this because I think the information you pull is really powerful. And I presented on direct action organizing while I was there. And one of the biggest things about direct action organizing is that it helps people in communities recognize the power that they already have, right? And so I think doing this survey will identify, of course, more gaps and things like that, but also doing some there's a lot of issues that exist. If we can do some more like direct action around issues, I think that'll be very powerful. The biggest thing that we can do is increase power in people because the people are the ones who vote. That's the biggest thing that we can do. And I always go back to, people who are active in neighborhood associations are also active voters. So I'm also always going to go back to that. I like the idea of this community health survey because what it does is it gets you out in front of people. You can ask people these questions, which also helps to build trust. A large part of organizing is also the relationship building that you do with people. Relationship building and also understanding like self-interest. And we keep acting like self-interest and power are bad things, but they're not bad things. Self-interest is just really just identifying like where do my needs fit in amongst the larger group, right? And when you can relate, when you can identify people's self-interest and build relationships with them, which builds trust, we can start pulling this information. Once we start pulling that information and really working with people through neighborhoods, now we're helping them build that power. And once they start building that power, they will get out and vote. And once they get out and vote, then we can start talking more about these policies. It's also about the right people, not the people who feel like they're owed a position, or not the people who feel like they entitled just because you're a Black person. Because I'm gonna go back to just because you Black don't mean nothing to me. You see what I'm saying? It don't mean nothing to me because I also need you to be about your business, and every Black person ain't about their business.
Not just about their business, the community business.
Drives me crazy. And let me tell you something, me and Precious had a whole bunch of long talks these past 5 days. It was a really wonderful time because, and I have to say, I have, like I've respected Precious, but after watching her this weekend, I was like, oh, okay, like she down here just like getting it. You know what I'm saying? So Precious, kudos to you for that position that you have, and you deserve a lot of respect for that because it was a wonderful conference with a lot of really great information. So I don't even know if I answered y'all question, but that's what I want to do. This community health survey was amazing. I went to another one on this neighboring week, and then my presentation. I'm bragging, yes I am, but it was standing room only. And Kimara Snipes did her thing, and then I was very, very happy. So, yeah.
What's up?
We got a lot of work. We got a lot
Not
of,
out.
but we're there. I think we came back with a lot of ideas, buddy. There's one that I'm not gonna say publicly yet because me and Kim are gonna talk about this. But there's one I think we can do a really good series on and really start to really impact. I had a conversation with the city of Birmingham yesterday, and just to hear the mayor say, what y'all need, we got to get some younger folk down there, like the mayor of Birmingham. Like they only been back one day. They already talking about the conference, and they're already talking about how they can incorporate younger people in their city government as well as in their neighborhoods to come. Because there was one neighborhood, for instance, is Woodlawn, and y'all might know I lived in Birmingham for a few years, and Woodlawn was a very, very bad neighborhood. I mean, it had prostitutes. It was very bad. It was not some, you're like, oh, you live in Woodlawn. They be like, oh, what? But Woodlawn has become such a thing because what they've done, they've actually transformed the neighborhood. They have more younger residents living there, staying within the city. But what's beautiful is that Slutty Vegan has opened up a business in this neighborhood. And so this neighborhood is now thriving because they got the younger people involved. And I think that's something that we got to really focus on, is getting our youth involved and having them attend these conferences and see the work that's going on in neighborhoods and know that we can make a difference. I mean, we have some good things going on in our neighborhoods. So the goal is next year to bring Omaha out more, get it back to where we used to, because before COVID, I think the last conference was in Memphis when Omaha had like 2 bus loads when we went to Memphis. And then COVID hit. Yeah, for Noosa. Then we went to Palm Springs. It was only about maybe 8 or 9 of us. But definitely, I mean, I've been with the organization now, I think since 17 now, and then been on the board since 18, and been now this is I'm now going to complete my first year as president of the organization, and I mean, we have a lot to do. We can really get more people there. And I think, me and Kimara saw a lot of different programs that we was like, wait a minute, we can implement that here. And a lot of these programs, they're implementing them, and the people who are doing the workshops or participating are doing it for free to come in and help, to come in and speak. And so that I think we there's one that I want to do, and I think we could do a good series on it, and I think people will love it.
So when you say there's a couple of bus loads, there was youth. That was youth.
No, it was neighborhood leaders. It was just neighborhood leaders, because it was always the neighborhood organizations like, Nona, some from Sona, people from just neighborhood associations. They would go every year, because it's a very beneficial conference. I mean, because you're bringing in people all over.
We also had, people in the city that were very invested in the process, like Narita Matt. Narita Matt was like the guru of neighborhoods, and she was over like the planning department, right?
Okay.
And so she was at all the SONA meetings. She would come to your neighborhood association meeting. They would throw a big party before everybody left for Noose, and everybody would get together and have a really good time. And so it's also a matter of how to get the city more invested. And I was going back, and I was actually reading the city charter, and I was looking in there, and I was like, looking at the city council powers to create like advisory committees. I was like, why don't the city have an advisory council of all the neighborhood alliance leaders? You know what I'm saying? Why are you leaving that on a nonprofit? You know what I'm saying? Yep. So there's room there. And space for that. So, because when another big thing I got was like, I was talking to Miss Joyce, who works for HUD out of Memphis, right? And, and I'm looking at how connected like HUD is in these other states to the communities and the conversations they're having. I'm thinking about my relationship up here with the things that are happening with HUD, and my anger and just like disbelievement, right?
So
I thought HUD was connected.
That was my question. Like, what are the gaps?
I mean, connected, like, I'm gonna just be honest with you, like, as somebody who, when we're talking about this redevelopment, keep in mind that, I started getting involved with this process back in 2016, kicking down doors. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, I shouldn't feel like I have to kick down doors to get information. That in and of itself is a problem to me. And I go back to, and I will not stop saying it, and yeah, I'm cool with all these people, but I have said from the gate that my only concern is the people and what's going to happen to them. And I cannot get a definite answer on that. And until I have that answer, I don't care what you say. Mixed income development, and I don't care what's going to happen to these people. That's been my only question, and I can never get a solid answer to that. So until I can get a solid answer to that, I don't feel connection.
And can I say this? We ran into our former HUD representative, Mr. Earl Reddick. He's now in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And he's working within the. So I was like, when I saw him, and I was like, that looked like Earl, but I didn't say that.
I was like, hey, sir.
And then he saw Kimara, and I said, that is Earl. I said, so he was shocked to see me and Kimara down there. He was like, wait a minute, Precious, I didn't know you was a president's organization. And then his boss comes, well, she's a political appointee. So me and her had a good conversation about it, and then we ran into the land bank, the executive director for the land bank in Birmingham. Like it was, man, let me tell you. But I will say this, when Noosa came to Omaha, when we hosted in Omaha, the city did invest in that conference. And we put on and actually, I think El Paso may have exceeded us, but we put on a very, very successful conference. It was over 650 people, I think. And wow. They want to come back to Omaha. They loved it.
When was the conference?
This was in 2017.
Yeah.
So since then, since the city made that investment in that conference, how much investment have you seen in actual neighborhoods from the city? That's what I'm like.
You have the mayor's neighborhood grant where they can get $5,000.
And then you have Omaha Community Foundation, you get up to $25,000. But I mean,
in your estimate, is that real investment as far as versus what you're seeing around the nation? Because I'm trying to get to real solutions. Like what we're talking about
No,
What are we talking about? We're
you
talking about
want
a
it.
government who is obviously not representing the people. There's organizations in the neighborhood. The people are trying to do things for themselves, but the government has all the money, and so I'm trying to figure out
No,
how do
I
we bridge.
can't.
What is the gap?
No, here's the thing. Like, I can't just say it's one person because we also have a city council. Hell, we have people on city council who represent neighborhood groups, right? So there needs to be several different conversations happening, and
Right.
I can't just leave it up to one
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, I know that I'm really kind of excited, like when this conference happens in a couple of weeks, because that week there's going to be some people coming up here in Precious, and I'm supposed to be hollering to some people about some neighborhoods. And I'm very, very interested, especially to talk to Kansas City, to just see what different things are going on. And, I made some connections, and Precious has connections, and it's going to require some more, deep dive and conversation to see specifically what people are doing differently. But even when I look at, I think it was, hold on, let me look here. Like St. Louis, like they have a human services division, right? That covers like homelessness, veterans affairs, office on the disabled. They have a youth and family services, right? Like even looking at something like that and just seeing like, yeah, wow, the city has a whole like just dedicated to like youth, right? Like that's a beautiful thing. Like what are other cities doing?
So
Go ahead,
what,
bro.
Buddy, you asked the question, and I'm gonna say, is the city investing enough in neighborhoods to make us thrive? And I will say no, because compared to the other cities, they are investing, and they have a very much so presence within their neighborhoods, in their city official, their community and development. The city of Birmingham has a community resource and development office that specifically works with neighborhoods, and Birmingham has 99 neighborhoods. On top of that 99 neighborhoods, their money is invested in, is into their budget. They work in the work to
Mm-hmm.
send each of their people to this NUSA conference. It's worked into the budget. And so two
Yeah.
leaders from each neighborhood association has everything covered to go to the NUSA conference, to be able to bring back the different things. And they always enter in and show what the work they're doing to improve their neighborhoods. But their mayor is very invested in neighborhoods. He
So that
campaigned on neighborhoods, and he believes in neighborhoods.
Yeah.
that was my question when you said I spoke to Birmingham. Like who from Birmingham? Is it the mayor, city council members?
Mayor,
These are the people that just so again, this is what I'm getting at. So we have you two sisters from Omaha who are going out around this nation to figure out what other cities are doing and what is actually working to actually benefit neighborhoods. And you're bringing this back to, but who in the city are listening to you? Who in the city, even if you find the perfect program that works, that God made and sent down from the heavens,
On
who
tablets.
can you go to in the city that will implement this to actually do it? Like, what are we doing?
if the mayor puts down her grudges and
That's not gonna happen.
it's not. And so that's how that. So now what we have to do, we gotta get our commissioners involved, and we gotta get our city council involved. But
Right.
our
So who are
commissioners,
these people? Who are the
I
Douglas
think
County
also,
commissioners and the city of Omaha council members? Names.
you got Marianne Borgeson, Chris
We need to
Rogers,
call her. Need to call
Corey,
him.
Juanita Johnson, Pete Festerson, Danny Begley, Amy
These are people
Melton.
that we've
I'm
talked to some of
them
these
all,
people before, and we
all this.
can definitely go ahead.
But what I'm gonna tell you, and I'll be honest with you, when we applied for the turn back tax for maybe some years ago to send neighborhoods there, it got declined. They said we can't pay for travel for neighborhoods to go to the neighborhood conference.
So
We're gonna
again,
let's wrap this up. Let's
yeah.
I want to kind of leave it here, and we don't need to go back again. I think that we understand what's happening here. We're gonna continue to have this conversation and come to some solutions
That's what I'm trying.
on some of these things. Yeah. So let's pick it up.
Buddy's on the right track. I know what Buddy's saying. I know what
We
he's
we
saying.
go we go in there. We go in there. We have to. We have to. We got about another 6 minutes here in our time with you guys. We got another guest coming on 8:30. We want to before we'll table that and we'll come back to some solutions. Start talking about these things again at a certain point. Before we let you guys go though, I just want to ask you about the situation with the reader. I know that you heard that the reader is going away.
what?
Okay, so
You did not hear.
breaking
Okay.
news. They put out they put out a message yesterday that their last issues will be September. Um, we spoke to John Houston. John Houston is lots to it, but we'll get to all the reasons why. But the bottom line is that the reader is going to go away in September. So Kimmer, I was going to ask you what you thought about that news. It sounds like you're just getting that news right now.
It Well, just first thought is just now the like lack of access to just certain types of news, right? I mean, I've worked with Chris on some
Right.
stuff, and like, you know, when I think about them and their willingness to print things that other papers won't, like that's a loss, and not just like in one community, in multiple communities,
Right.
you know. Wow, like that's
Precious, have you heard that news? Did you hear the news?
Yeah, it was sent to me yesterday, and the first thing I thought about was John and the work that he's done for many, many years. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think about when I go and pick up, like if I go to my favorite Chinese restaurant, or if I go to bag a family fair, like I'm always grabbing the reader, you know.
Right.
I remember just interviewing when Buddy, I think that's when the land bank information came out in the
Mhm.
reader. And again, it like Kimara said, it touches communities, and it actually touches stories that sometimes the Omaha World Herald would never touch because of politics. And so
Exactly.
to see that we're losing a news source, and we continue, and these are the news sources that we need, it's very sad. And I think of the people and the reporters who have invested so much to be able to risk their careers to be able to tell these stories that no one else would tell. So hopefully, I mean, we got to support our local newspapers. I mean, we still have the Omaha Star, but I would really love to see, like, if this can be saved. And I'm hoping and praying that there's some a young person that says, you know, John, we want to save this, and you know, some philanthropists, we want to save it. And John, you know, if he's not able to do it full time, but he's still a big part of the organization, and an advisor. But I'm really hoping that the philanthropy community sees what's about to happen, and really steps up, and they step up on everything else, and help that they can step up and keep this, because this is news sources not just for North and South Omaha, but I mean for our Hispanic community, as well as just, you know, for community in general. And this is news that we need.
Yeah. We're gonna have to leave it there. Let's think some more on it. This is definitely something that we're gonna continue to talk about because of, our association with the reader and just the news cycle and system in general here
Yeah.
that we're trying to fill some gaps in. It's gonna be an ongoing thing, and also just to leave you guys with the players are still around right now. There's still gonna be journalism. There's still gonna be the Chris Baby Boy Bowling still trying to fight the good fight and so on and so forth. But yes, it is worthy of several conversations about what this means and what we can do about it. So I appreciate you guys having a statement on that, and like I said, we'll continue to talk about it for sure. Just about 2 minutes left here. I want to get to our guest is waiting in the wings. We're going to definitely get to him in a minute. Just want to give us some words, some parting words. Give us something that's good that's happening. What's good happening with you, Precious, and what's good in the hood, Kimra? Give us a note of positivity as we exit.
Uh, well, I'll just say, look, because you know we be on a roll.
Mm.
Um, I'll just say, you know, as I embark on this new chapter of 44, I'm really looking at valuing and trusting myself more in the decisions that I make. And after coming back from NUSA, I just, it was a sparked interest in being able to share that space with Kimra, and being able to see her work and her magic, and the way that people was, I mean, people didn't know me and Kimra knew each other. And this lady was like, oh, I missed a whole award ceremony to see my community present their award because I was in that class with the Kimmer lady. so so just to hear the
Nice.
spark, you know, people was sitting there, it was really beautiful. And so I just say, people, you know, as we know there's a lot of negativity in the world, let's go ahead and just embrace the positive, and think about the positive outcomes. And that's what I'm going to do going forward. And I love that my sisters are keeping me in line, you know, and basically pulling, if they see me going the wrong way, they be like, hey, come on back over here. You know, there's work to be done over here, so don't get discouraged. So that's what I'll say.
Well, happy born day anniversary for you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thanks for coming in on your day,
Yes,
Kimra. You
yes.
got some parting words for us?
Oh yeah, happy birthday. It is officially today. Yes. I
The
keep thinking,
day.
the party and everything. For me, well, getting ready for tomorrow, the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance banquet at the Croc Center.
Yes.
Ooh.
Thank God for a team, because honey, Kimber ain't been able to do anything. Thank God for a team. I'm for real.
Teamwork
So
made the
getting
dream
ready
work.
for that, and I say it again. I'm sorry. Oh
I
yes,
just said,
thank you. And I also wanted to share these books that I'm reading right now. I like to share that. So there is this one here called The Vision Driven Leader. My
okay.
coach sent it to me. I like books with tools that give you like a step-by-step process that helps you create a vision script, and you can apply vision to anything. And then I have this book too. It's called The First 90 Days. It's a good book as well. So just some suggestions for folks. It also comes with tools too. I'm reading this, with my new position at One Omaha. So I think it's pretty good. So I'm a
What,
book person. I can't
what's
help
the
it.
second one? I missed it. What was the second one?
The First 90 Days
Word. Okay.
Hey,
by
Kimara,
Michael Watkins.
can I say something? Whenever I take a new job, I always put in my head, I always say on the job training, the first 90 days is when you got to be like a sponge and soak it all in. And after that, if I don't get it, then maybe it's not for me. But the first 90 days, I'm on the job training. I'm soaking in everything like a sponge.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Mama
Okay.
God says, "Amen, ladies, keep up the fight and hope there is a solution." Happy birthday, Precious! Right on,
There
Mama
you
God.
go.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time today. We will see you soon next week.
See y'all later.
All
All
right,
right.
you guys have a good one. Peace.
Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Precious McKesson, put some respect on her name. Kimara Snipes, put some respect on her name. Really appreciate them coming in, taking that time, and getting up early in the morning. I know it's tough sometimes to do that, but thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll take a quick break and come back with another special guest that we got coming on. Brother Marlon Harrison was waiting in the wings. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the DS.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, thanks for joining us. Very much appreciated that you get up so early in the morning and discuss these things with us. Really appreciate everybody's comments. If you miss any parts of this show, please go back and check out the show in its entirety on Facebook or YouTube and dive into the chat. That's where a lot of the discussion and in the deep dives and the great comments live. So definitely check that out. Appreciate you guys coming through. Class C Divine in the chat says, "I continue to learn a lot when I catch the show. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate you coming on in over there on Facebook. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And without further ado, we have another special guest coming in here on this Wednesday. This brother's name is Marlon Harrison, and we'll bring him in right now. Good morning. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good. Can y'all hear me?
We
Yep,
can hear
loud
you
and clear. How you
loud and
doing?
clear.
Okay,
Right on.
good. Sorry, there's a lot going on. First day of North Star Camp, so there's a lot going on. Sorry.
Oh, you at North Star?
Yeah, so we got first day of camp. It starts at 9, a lot going on. So I'm glad y'all could schedule me in today.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
man.
man. Well,
Hey, thanks
appreciate
for
you.
working us in.
No
Definitely
problem.
appreciate you coming. Well,
Uh,
we'll jump into it. We'll let people know who you are and what you'll be talking about. I love that you're doing a project for the 100 North's 100-year anniversary. I think
mhm.
that's a good that's a year that we have been neglecting to recognize that was coming up. The 100-year anniversary, is that coming up this year or next year?
North High's Omaha North High. Let me make that clear.
Mhm.
100th anniversary is coming up in 2024.
24.
Okay,
Got
so
it.
next year. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Well, that sounds good, man. Well, thanks for coming on, and letting us know about this. I've
mhm.
seen you in the chat a few times too. You've been checking
Yep.
out the show a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I found y'all like 2 months ago. Y'all came up on my Facebook feed somehow. Yeah,
Hmm.
I really like y'all, and it's not often that I like black male podcasters because some of them are a little fickle. But
Yeah,
I really do like y'all, and I that's why I stayed in. I liked and stay here, so that's why.
I
Man,
appreciate
appreciate
that,
that.
man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we trying to do something different. We're trying to do something special. And I attribute a lot of the attitude that we have and what we're trying to do with Buddy over here. To me, this young man right here is the dude that is embodying the spirit of us trying to make some change in the black community. And he's come from North High, and
Yeah.
I attribute your experience at North High as part of that.
Hmm.
So I really appreciate that. I didn't go to North. I grew up in California, but my sister went to North. You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
lived down the street from North many years, and I hear the stories about the special people there that really help people get through. Uh,
Man.
Yeah.
we're trying to work on series that have to do with STEM and some of the programs that North has, and
Hmm.
really push the science. So got a special affinity for North High for sure. And so I'm really happy to hear from you who's doing something for that. Can you tell us a little bit about the program that you got coming up for the 100 year?
I just do videos. So how I got first of all, buddy, what year did you graduate?
Ooh, 2011. Graduated in 2011.
Okay, so we probably seen each other around the hallways because
You do look a little familiar. You do look a little familiar.
I graduated in 2013.
Okay.
So basically my thing is I I like history and I like North High, and in college I got the opportunity to do we for our history classes we had to do oral interviews where we had to go out into the community and interview somebody, um and that's pretty much where it started at. And then also, I don't know if y'all know this or not. Soul Train got this series where they interviewing past Soul Train dancers,
Oh
Hmm.
and
wow,
so
good.
I like those. I like took that concept and took my oral interview concept what I did in college. I was like, I want to do this for North High, and so I around the summer 2021. I talked to one of my buddies who's on the board of it, the alumni board at North High, and Dr. Nero, and we talked about the project, and Dr. Nero approved it.
Hmm.
And so we started it in the 2021-2022 school year, and we are going to continue this project until the 2024 and 2025 school year conclude.
Okay.
Nice.
And so you're just interviewing alumni from North. Is it just kind of getting background stories, or I guess what are you looking for in these interviews with alumni?
Um, as alumni, and I personally, and that video is going to be out soon. I personally interviewed Mrs. Bernice Nared, who was the former principal of North High from '97 to 2001. So I did that personally. But it's not just me who's doing this; it's also the digital media and the journalism up at North High.
Oh, okay.
I give them much credit because I can't do it because I got a full-time job.
Right.
But I just do most of the casting and give them like, okay, this is the theme for this video. And then I kind of put out on like Facebook or whatever, like, hey, we're looking for, these people and this people. And um, they kind of like, they students set up the interviews and then they interview the students. But what would you guys, buddy?
Well, I'm kind of curious, like why did you choose North? As I know you went to North, but some people like are just glad to be out of high school. Some people would never go back to their old high school. So what is it about North that made you feel like this is a story that needs to be told, and the 100-year anniversary is something that needs to be celebrated?
I've been wanting to go north since I was in third grade. Because I went to Skinner, which is down the street, and
Okay.
when I was up at Skinner North used to do a lot of projects together, and so that kind of put me a battery in my back to want to go North High. I would say North High has an interesting story and interesting history. We always hear what the media puts out about North High, but we never actually hear from like the students that was part of those events. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Part of like that history. We always hear about the craziness and the fights and all this stuff at North High, but that goes on North High, but we don't hear about the other stories that go on North High, like kids, winning state in football and basketball and cheer, kids going off to college, the military, kids who, people who have come, who left North High, then came back and work at North High as teachers, security guards, and stuff like that. So that's why I wanted to do it, because North High has a very interesting history and it comes to the students and stuff like that.
Man.
That's interesting.
Okay.
That's close to our heart, man. Because one of the reasons why we started, well, first it was Mind and Soul, and now first Sky Omaha, was because that same reason. You always hear stuff that goes on in North and South Omaha. You hear all the bad stories all the time, and nobody's really talking about the good things that's happening. That's the whole reason why we're doing this. So
Mhm.
we definitely got that in common for sure, and I love that. I'm interested in learning about. Buddy got me interested in learning about the engineers that went to North High and came out and became engineers in other fields in other states, and how they found success in that because of the science programs, the STEM programs, and stuff that North has. So I love this idea of you facilitating the department there, the journalism department there, to interview people. The oral histories is something that is a black tradition, and we really need to all keep up and do. So I love hearing that you're doing that. That's really
Yeah,
cool. Mhm.
and I interviewed people who are pillars in this community. One of my elementary school principal, Mr. Cumbly, he went to North
Man.
High and interviewed him. Um, Pastor Edward King, who's one who helps the Hope Center, he went to North High. His wife also, who does daycare in North Omaha. I have talked to what's his name? Oh my gosh, who wants Avenue Scholars? I can't think of his name right now. Um, he graduated in the 70s. I can't think of his name right now, on top of my head. Um, we interviewed him. We interviewed um, another educator in Omaha. Um, we interviewed a couple of people here and there, so I really do like it. So,
Buddy, who's the brother that was the principal that everybody
Man.
really connected to?
Brother Gene Haynes.
Brother
Brother man
Gene
Gene
Haynes.
Haynes. But I'm just kind of thinking of my time at North,
Hold
and
on, hold on, because I was asking that for a reason.
oh.
Did you happen to be able to did how long has this been going on? Were you able to interview Brother Haynes?
I'm not actually. I'm going to interview him next school year, because he's another person who.
No, he passed away. Did he pass away?
I don't
No,
think so.
no,
Okay,
he's still here.
thinking about somebody else. Okay, cool.
He retired, but he didn't pass
Don't
away.
put him in the ground just yet.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
right,
I'm
right.
sorry.
No,
My
he
bad.
didn't
My
pass
bad.
away. He
My bad.
retired though.
He retired. That's what it was. He retired.
Yeah,
My
he
bad.
retired.
He said, "Don't put him in the ground just yet." My bad, man. Yeah. We ain't trying to. We don't need no more bad news today. Uh, I appreciate that you have plans to interview him, because I hear that from my sister. I hear that from so many people coming from North about what a powerhouse he was to everybody's
Yes.
life. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to cut you off though, buddy. What was you saying about your time at school?
I mean, just you mentioning Gene Haynes, there's him and man several other examples of black men. Like we don't really talk about that enough in the community, the importance, especially in education. Not a lot of black men teachers, but I had at North specifically a lot of black male educators.
Mm,
From Brother Christopher Wiley, rest in peace. Brother
Yeah.
Gene Haynes, Brother Barry Thomas, whose wife is one of the head brass on Omaha Police Force. I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, Brother George Anderson, rest in peace, who was one of the legendary track coaches at Omaha
Mhm.
North. There's a lot of, strong black male figures that worked at Omaha North, that really don't get spoken about enough. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'm excited to see just a story that comes out of this.
That's what's
Yeah.
up, man. Mama got in the chat saying Buddy was strongly involved in engineering programs his entire years there.
Yeah,
I, I'm so anxious to hear more about these engineering programs and people that have come out of them. You know.
Did you
yeah.
have
Well,
Mr. Did you have Mr. Anthony Williams, buddy?
No, I did not have Mr. Williams in the engineering program. I was under Doc. If you
Okay.
remember Doc, yep. So shout out to Doc, who was a brilliant engineering mind and a brilliant engineering teacher at
Mm-hmm.
Omaha North. But just to speak on the STEM part and what you're talking about, Paul, to kind of give some context for the people out there listening who might be curious about, you keep mentioning the engineering program
Hmm.
at Omaha North. Again, you think about Omaha North, and there's a lot of things there, low income families, and just kind of some of the violence, some of the things that seep from the neighborhood into the schools. That
Mm-hmm.
element is there, but in the midst of all that is a very, very viable engineering program at Omaha North, and they compete religiously every year in the I believe UNO. There's statewide engineering programs, all Central, Creighton Prep,
Robotics.
Bellevue Robotics. All of these are they compete, and Omaha North kills annually in all of these competitions. And nobody talks about these engineering minds coming out of North Omaha that are getting these high medals and really competing and really killing in these engineering programs. And
Mm-hmm.
some of the top engineering minds from the state are coming from Omaha North.
I love
Mm-hmm.
it. I love it, brother Harrison. Let me ask you a question, if you don't mind. Do you what you said you went to college? What college did you attend?
I went to Iowa State Community College, and then I went to Wayne State College
Mhm.
afterwards. Then COVID hit, and so but
Yeah.
Wayne State College is where we did a lot of oral interviews because I'm a history major, and so that's where it kind of like grew from. And so
Hmm.
I've never really thought of oral interviews,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and so after that I was like, I want to do more of these. These are very fun and very interesting.
Yeah.
And so I want to do more of those in the future. Maybe outside North High, I want to do more of those because those are very like oral interviews is very interesting stuff. You know what I mean?
Totally. We kind of got into it ourselves a little bit in the music
Oh
scene.
yeah.
I hear my great grandfather owned the Allen Showcase on 24th and Lake years ago, and so I couldn't ever find any documentation or paperwork about what was going on, but I did find people that were there that wanted to tell the story, and I was able to record them and tell that. Then my dad taught me that that's an African American tradition
The
because
griot.
Mm-hmm.
it's the griot, yeah, from way back, man. He said he used to sit at his great grandfather's feet, and he would start with so and so begat so and so and so and so begat so and so. Now we're down to here, and here's his story, and he would
Mm-hmm.
tell the story. He would tell the story, and he wished back in those days he could have recorded that because that would have been crazy to hear that right now. But that's how we passed our history down in the first place. So you just continuing on that tradition, which I think is really awesome. But the
Yeah,
reason
man.
why I asked you about your college was was it a smooth transition from North High to the college that you went to? Did you get helped to get there? What was the process?
Way more help to get there.
I mean, I'm just wondering about like, was your the educators there? Did they help you along to get there? Did they? What
Yeah.
was the college that you went to? Were they connected to North so that you had a smooth transition over? You know what I mean?
I'm not really gonna say I was that much. I will say I went there because it was a nice campus. It had dorms. It was a small school. Um, I kind of I liked it, so that's why. Wayne State College, same thing.
Hmm.
Not really connections to North High like that, but I went up there because again, small school, good history department, good education department, so
Hmm.
that's why. Um, Back to my videos, I want to say
Hmm.
something real quick. What I like is not only are we telling the history of North High, but we also telling the history of Omaha.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, because I don't know if you get to, did I send you the 60s one, the 60s and 70s one?
Yeah, I think you sent. Yeah, I think it was the '70s when you sent.
Yes, 60s and
I didn't get
70s.
to watch it all. But
We talked a lot about like the civil rights,
mhm,
Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, the Vietnam War, and stuff like that. How not just it didn't just affect them at North High, but outside of the community as well. And
right.
it's like really good stories. I'm glad I'm doing this because we got a lot of stories, and I want to capture them all because before all those are lost, because a lot of them are getting up in age, sadly, and I really want to get a lot of those stories. Even with the '80s ones, just hearing those interviews and stuff is just so funny. And one of the questions we always ask them, like at the end, like what advice would you give to current or future Vikings? And they always say, stay focused, stay in your faith, don't get off track and stuff like that. And I love it so much.
I
Man,
love it. I
that's
love it.
beautiful. I kind of started the show talking about losing Elder John Beasley. So to hear a young person like yourself, younger than even me, going around and speaking and trying to capture those stories and get those, as you say, as the ones who have the stories kind of get older in age, is not a small thing. We definitely need to tell our own story, be able to tell our own story from the community's perspective. So definitely of our own heart as far as what we're doing here. I'm kind of curious. Can you tell us one story or just something that stuck out from you that you learned or heard that kind of stuck with you as far as from from these stories?
I would say the Bernice Nared video. I interviewed her. Again, she was principal of Omaha North High from 97 to 2001. She's from Oklahoma. She went to Langston University. And I asked her, because she took over after Mr. Harvey left North High. And I asked her, like, so what made you want to apply to take over Mr. Harvey position? And guess what she said? I didn't have an option. They just Dr. McGee, who was superintendent at the time, summoned me to his office and said, "You're gonna be the principal at North High. Go pack your stuff." And I started cracking. I was like, "So you didn't have an option?" She's like, "No." He just summoned me to his office one day. It's like, "You're gonna be the new principal at North High." And I asked her, was you scared because you were like the first female principal at North High? So she's like, "No, what I gotta be scared for? I know the community, I know the people, and if anybody has something to say, they can say it to my face and not behind my back." And then you gotta get her on the show. She's a really good person to interview. Okay. And then I asked her, like, so in 2001, you left North to go Northwest. Well, like, why did you leave? And she said, again, Dr. McGill summoned me to his office and say, "Go pack your stuff. You're going to be the new principal at Northwest." I was like, we just summoning people to our offices and just tell them, like, "Hey, you're going to go without any options?" Like, you have no. And so that's
funny.
That was cracked me up. And so that what really cracked me up in her interviews, just hear her say, "Okay, yeah, I was just summoned one day." And so.
Okay. So where will these videos live? Where can people go watch these?
You go on YouTube, and stuff like that. I have to go here in a few because the kids are starting to come in. But go on YouTube. I can send links in the thing, and people go check them out.
Please do.
We will.
All
we'll
right.
Put the link in. I really appreciate you coming on the show, man. You have a good day, and we'll speak to you soon.
All right. See y'all.
Brother
Right,
Harris.
peace.
Love it, man. That's what's up.
There you go. V's up, man. V's up.
Yeah, doing the good work, man. Digging for gold. I mean, those videos are gonna be gold. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah,
it's a beautiful thing. Love it. I love it.
Especially as time goes on, man. Again, a lot of stories to come out. I'm interested to see what comes out of those.
For real. Hey, if you got any questions for that brother, let us know. If you got any suggestions on people he ought to, some alumni from North that he should be looking into, I'm sure he would take suggestions, so we can pass that along to him. Just put it in the chat or put it in Friends of First Sky Omaha. And if you find that interesting, let us know. And we'll also put the link to the YouTube pages that you can watch some of these interviews on as well in the chat. I would put it in there now, except if I turn it on right now, it'll just start blasting. And I can't get it quiet fast enough. I was trying to. trying to put it down. I couldn't do it, but yeah. So we'll put it in the Friends of First Sky Omaha, so you can check out some of these really great interviews. 60s, 70s, 80s is what he sent me, so it'd be interesting to see, man, for real. 8:54 right now, and if you believe in the concept of time, we didn't really get to any. I mean, we kind of got to everything that we wanted to talk about today. Really, it's kind of kind of need to decompress for yesterday. That part in a big way. So let's spend the last 3 minutes talking about some haps. So, ladies and gentlemen, time for the haps.
What's the haps? What's happening? What's going down?
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, time for the halves. Time for us to talk about some things that are coming up that we should check out, get out into the wind and check out. And it's time for you to let us know about some things that you think is important enough for us to big up and go check out as well.
Yeah, what's
So,
going on?
yeah, what's going down around town? June 4th is coming up. It's not only my birthday, but it's the 6th annual prayer walk and vigil for Brother Zachary Bear Hills. Those of you know that he was killed by the police, and they are remembering him and remembering that situation and bringing back up what needs to happen with police and police brutality. And this reminds us every year, if we don't need, this reminds us in a real visceral way. The brother was walking from the Speedy Mart. He was going from the bus station to the Speedy Mart,
Hmm.
and that's where he lost his life from police brutality. So they say meet us at the bus station at 4 p.m. and walk the same route that Zachary took to Speedy Mart for a vigil to remember him and call out police brutality to indigenous peoples. So very important thing to go do. It's the 6th annual, so they've been doing this for a while now. That's again June 4th from 4 to 7. Meet them at the Greyhound bus station on 1601 Jackson Street. So there you go, Brother Bear Hills remembered. Also, let's get into. I want to remind everybody about one of our chat chimers, Amy H. Dot, got a new company going on, Delonix. We offer support and advocacy to our clients through project management and construction oversight services. I think when I met her, she was in that business, and I'm sure she's a master of it now that she's got her new business open. So support. Shout out to her. You can go to DelonixLLC.com. Definitely check her out. And, she's a chat timer. You can always speak to her about what's going on with her business as well. So congratulations on launching that yesterday. It's always a good thing to launch a new venture. And we appreciate that very, very much so. Brother Sherman Wells is going to be hosting some things
Hey.
here coming up. The street naming ceremony for Vivian Strong is happening June 16th at 3 o'clock and at 21st and Clark Street. And then there's a historical marker ceremony happening on July 28th on 24th and Blondo Street. So commemorating what happened to our sister Vivian Strong. Brother Sherman Wells found out that she's in his family and has taken up the mantle here to make sure that everything goes right. If you don't know about that story, on June 24th, 1969, Vivian Strong, 14-year-old black girl, was killed in Omaha, Nebraska. She was shot in the back of her head by a white police officer without warning. The killing sparked 3 days of what they call riots in the Omaha black community. It's more of an uprising, and and you see the effects of it today for sure. So he's been doing the work here, and like I say, there's going to be a street named on 21st and Clark, and that's happening June 16th. So mark your calendars for that. Also, historical marker July 28th, 24th and Blondo. Mark your calendars for that and support them and the family and everything that Brother Wells is doing, if you would. Friend of First Sky Omaha, for sure. Let's see what else is coming up. Father's Day. The Father's Day
Yeah.
event is happening. Shout out to 95.7 The Boss, William King. He's doing the 6th annual Father's Day Festival, a celebration of fatherhood featuring In Vogue, man, at the Orpheum Theater. It's gonna be right. It's gonna be
DJ
right.
Reggie C on the ones and twos.
Man, come on, Reggie. See, that's what's up. Also, a comedian, Joshua L. Stupo, is going to be hosting. Nothing better than a comedian host. They really get the party started, man. I always try to go with comedians when it comes to the hosting of the show
Mm-hmm.
because comedians know how to set the vibe in the room better than just about anybody.
Ought to get
Be real.
down.
Yep. So that's what's up. Also, Melissa Morgan will be there. Again, you can get tickets from Ticket Omaha. This will be at the Orpheum Theater on, what's the date again? June 18th, Father's Day, June 18th, 6 p.m. So mark your calendars, get your tickets ready for that. Amber Ruffin was in town the other day. We talked a little bit about her new podcast, the Amber and Lacey and Amber Show.
Yep.
As you can imagine, it's hilarious, and definitely want to check it out. iHeartMedia. I think you can get the thing on iTunes as well, and also Spotify. So definitely check them out. The Amber and Lacey and Amber Show is going down. Man, we were talking a little bit about the writer's strike and things that's going on, man, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of heavy stuff happening around. There's
Yeah.
some
In
dumbing up
Hollywood.
works for some people. Tomorrow, this is what's happening. We just had Kimara Snipes on talking about this. The Sona annual banquet is happening at 5:30 tomorrow. 6:30 is when the program starts. 5:30 social. You can go there and meet, have some drinks, meet some folks. Again, that's tomorrow, June 1st, 2023, at the Kroc Center, 2825 Y Street. Go ahead and support, man. We learned a lot about these neighborhood associations, and I think it's genius that she has an annual banquet for the South Omaha Neighborhood Association. That's great. So yeah, definitely check it out. Support. We'll be building neighborhoods together, like she says. So that's what's up. Appreciate that very much. And with that said, it's 9:00, and we don't believe in the concept of time, but we believe in the concept of agreement. So we're gonna go ahead and shut the show and get out of here. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
As always, big shout out to Sisters Precious McKesson and Kimara Snipes for taking the time out of their schedules to come and speak with us, and, politic with us a little bit. Of course, happy birthday to Sister Precious. Hopefully you enjoy your day. And as always, man, big shout out to all the chat chimers, all the ghost listeners, everybody who's tuned in, listening to the conversation and enjoying it and actually interacting in the conversation. We appreciate everybody, man. So tell a friend and tell a friend. We'll be here same time, same place on Friday. And without further ado, go ahead and take it away, Paul B.
Yep. My man Tony Johnson in the chat just is talking about the Juneteenth situation. Native Omaha situation. He says website looks hacked. So we'll definitely look into that and see what's going on there. So I appreciate the note there. We'll see what's happening. But in the meantime, between time, we'll pick this up on Friday. Again, we want to thank everybody for getting up early with us this morning. We want to thank the Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. We want to give a shout out to our elders allowing us to speak before them. We want to give a rest in peace to one of our very, very, very dear friends and elders and mentors, Mr. John Beasley, and prayers to the family as well. And we want to give a shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. We really appreciate you lending your voices, and we're doing our best to make your voices heard so that we can continue this conversation and get to some solutions on some things. We appreciate your passion. We appreciate your information. We appreciate you being respectful and very much helpful in the chat. And, I love the fact that we all are speaking to each other as if we would be speaking face to face. And it's a great thing. Really appreciate it. So thank you very much. We'll see you Friday when we're going to have some of the last sessions with the brother senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne. And that's because we're in the last days of the legislature. So definitely tune in on Friday to hear what's going on. And all the last minute little dramas and things that's happened and things they try to slip in at the end and all the stuff that happens in the soap opera called the legislature.
Man,
we can't wait to talk about it and talk with them on Friday. So until then, we'll see you there, and you guys take care of yourselves and enjoy this nice sun that's out today. And have a good one. So we'll see you Friday.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red